Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for episode 138 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Matt Robert.
And in this episode, we talk about the board games, Hansa Teutonica, Vault Wars Relic Roadshow expansion, Archmage, and much more. Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. Would you rather have a rare disease that makes you always say everything that is on your mind or lose the ability to ever speak again? If you'd like, you can give multiple commands without saying Alexa every time.
Stop.
To enable this feature.
Except for that command, apparently. Alexa, stop. What was the question?
Would you rather have a rare disease that makes you say everything that's on your mind or never be able to speak again?
I don't know. I'm pretty honest. I think I might just go with the disease.
No. I don't need every thought coming out of my mouth. No, it's easy for me.
That's fair. That's like liar, liar. I feel like we've done this one before, but I don't know if we've done it with you. Or maybe we did it and then George and I just cut it. Because sometimes, most of the time, we just take it and we go with it live. Mm-hmm. But every once in a while, it's like...
It's a bum one.
It's a bum one, but not necessarily because the question's bad. It's mostly because it's too much thought to do a podcast with.
Right.
You know, if you were just sitting in your room talking to people, it'd be different. But trying to come up with an answer on the fly, it doesn't work all the time. So I think that's one that we had did months and months ago, but then we just cut it off because we were like, I don't know. Or it was so short.
Will she ever ask the same question?
No, I don't. I think she's asked a couple of the same questions. We cut those out too. Let's do another one. Alexa, ask a random question.
Here's a question for you. What is your favorite thing about the beach?
The sand. I don't know. I mean, the beach is cool. We're going there next month.
Which one?
To Treasure Island in Florida. It's where because it's our 10-year anniversary.
Oh, that's right.
And so we're going back to take the kids on the beach and get them in the same spot we got married or whatever.
Is that Gulf side?
It's Gulf side, yeah.
There you go.
That's the good side.
Ocean side is not cool.
No, right. That's like...
It's cool until you go to the Gulf side.
Right, yeah.
Then you never want to go back to the ocean side.
Exactly. So what you been up to, Matt? You've been a while since you've been on the podcast. I don't remember what episode you were on here last.
I don't either, but I don't know. Just, it's funny. You asked me what I've been playing lately. Nothing really, but I've been playing Pokemon Go a lot. So
that is true. I've played it a lot, but then I kind of scaled back a little bit. And it's mostly because I'm working from home, so it's really hard to play it from your house.
Right.
They reverted the changes they did, right?
Actually, yes, like yesterday.
Yeah. Because I kind of read about it, and then when I was driving, I noticed that it would pop up. Mm-hmm. I don't play and drive.
Right.
I'm just saying I got a $50 watch that plays the game for me.
Yeah. No, it went back to 80 meters. Everyone wants to say kilometers, I think, like I was just about to, but it's meters, 80 meters. And that is from the way they worded it, that'll be a constant forever. Like even post-pandemic or whatever. Like it'll always be that amount of distance. And then September 1st will be their big task force announcement. They should have some maybe different changes, or I don't know. They're trying to come up with a way to, I guess, be more in tune with their community a little bit, because up until now, like, Niantic has not said a word to the community about anything.
Yeah, they don't communicate.
They do not.
Period.
So I think they're coming up with some kind of task force that will kind of deal with the content creators and maybe bounce ideas off them of what they think, how the community will perceive changes they're going to make. Probably one of the bigger things they'll push on is like, just can you please fix a lot of the bugs that are still in the game 4 or 5 years later? It's unreal. So, but I don't know.
So how are you liking, I know like when you played originally, they didn't have any of the quests.
They didn't have nothing.
It was like nothing besides just capture.
You just collected Pokemon. You couldn't trade.
You couldn't fight each other.
The only thing you could do fighting wise was like messing with gyms. That was the only amount of fighting you could do. There was no raids. You couldn't, you couldn't sit here and play each other. Just all that stuff. It was a totally different game when I played it when it first came out versus how it is now. So.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Oh, yeah.
This is, if it came out like this, man, it would have made a massive splash. I mean, it made a massive splash back then, but I think the longevity of the game would have been further.
Right. And, even when it first came out, everyone knew that Niantic drags their feet on everything and they're slow to roll out changes and all that. So everyone kind of knew that going into it, but I'm glad that, it took 5 years for it to be the game it is now. So,
right. I'm glad it stuck around though, because it is proving to be a really awesome mobile game.
Yes.
And to me, it's one I'll spend money on.
Mm-hmm.
So have you dove into it that deep?
Yeah, not a lot. I'll be honest. I was doing I guess my silent protest with the Hear Us Niantic thing. Like I didn't spend $1,
Yeah.
Not saying I spent a lot of money, but, and speaking of that, I will say that the number one player in the world, I believe, is Brandon Tan, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
He made an announcement whenever they did this, because it was odd that they only reverted it back in America and New Zealand. The rest of the world was still on the 80 meters.
Right.
So Brandon Tan actually, to be, in solidarity with the community, was like, I'm not spending one more cent on this game. He announced what he spends, and he said between $4,000 and $6,000 a month.
That's insane.
Now he is a content creator. I'm sure he's getting YouTube money and whatever on top of that, but I mean, that's like a tax write-off if it's anything, but
yeah,
it's unreal. But
what could you spend for other? I guess you can buy like raid passes.
That's a lot of it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what a lot of people who spend massive amount of money is there. It's the raid passes.
Right.
That's what they're doing, and that's what he did. And it was funny. He just kind of like not gave the middle finger to Niantic, but he was like, if you think that one person can't make a change when I'm spending $4,000 to $6,000 a month, yeah, I think I can.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's just him. And then he has all his viewers that might be on his side and do the same thing. It's a waterfall effect up there.
Yeah, and I will say this, that the community, a lot of communities are like, or just anything with any kind of viewpoint is like, we should protest and no one spend money. If you spend money, you suck. And it was kind of weird with this. A lot of people were just like, if you want to spend money, cool, but I just choose not to right now.
Right.
So it was kind of neat to see just a different outlook on, people taking a stance on something, whereas you got today's culture where it's mask or not, and it's a political thing, and it's so divisive, and this was just do your own thing. If you want to spend money, cool, but I'm just choosing not to.
Right. No, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, you shouldn't like force everybody to be on your side, because people are enjoying it still, even if like the changes were there, And so it's like, why should you be like, I want you to pick up the battle axe and charge into battle with me? It's like,
and the other thing is so like, I remember, on the, which community, or was it community day? Yeah. They did the Eevee community day.
Yeah.
I'm walking around the park. I met two new people during this. And that's actually what Niantic wants you to do. They want you out and about. They want you to meet new people. So that's kind of what it's all about. So I met this young dude. I would call him a kid just because I think he was half my age, but he was in his 20s. But nice dude. And we're sitting there talking, and he's telling me how like, oh well, if you want to get the shiny Eevees 3-star, all you got to do is spend the $1.99 and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well I'll think about it. I'm at the back of my mind. I'm like, I'm not doing that because I'm protesting, but at the same time, he might not even know about this movement. So there's no reason for me to jump down his throat and be like, well, you shouldn't do that because,
right. I can't believe you walked all the way to this park.
Oh, you haven't heard? Oh, you loser, that kind of deal. So, and there's just as many people that don't know that that's even a thing. So,
right.
Whatever, spend your $1.99. You got a 3-star shiny Eevee where I didn't. Okay, that's cool. Whatever.
Well, I actually think you got a shiny Eevee for completing the whole thing too, the quest line.
Yes,
but it may not have been 3-star. I mean, maybe it could have been.
It was a base level of 12, so it was at least a 2-star. You had a really good chance of it being a 3-star.
Right.
So, or no, wait a minute. If it was to 12, it was a low level 3-star. Yes.
So whatevs.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Eevee does evolve into some good stuff, which is the reason to have like a better version.
Right.
So have you been doing a lot of the raids at all?
I do it when I can. I don't buy a lot of raid passes. It's really hard to get in on raids, even with raid passes, because even if you're like, you get on Facebook channels.
Yeah, or Reddit.
Well, man, you got to be quick.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
You're against the internet. I mean, it's really hard. So I did. A guy at my work introduced me to a app that works with Pokemon Go app. So essentially, you just look on there, you see what raid you want to do that's out at the moment. You click on it, and you just sit there and watch. And eventually, if you're able to join, then you hit join, and it'll take you back into your Pokemon app, and you're in. It's fairly simple to use.
What?
Yeah, so like if you're on...
What is this called? That is amazing.
GoFriend?
GoFriend?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So you don't actually have to... See, what the problem with like Facebook groups and Reddit
You're copying trainer codes and all that
trainer
crap.
codes.
Yes.
You have to invite people as your friend, and you have to like accept it, then delete them afterwards and stuff like that.
Well, the people running the raids, they still have to do that. But it's not as much footwork for the person that's just looking for a raid to join.
Yeah.
So there is a monetary thing they put with it to where you got to like buy plugs, and it gets you better access and first choices and stuff like that. But you can usually do it just fine. And they can't set parameters on like, you have to be a level 35 or I won't accept you kind of deal. So they can do things like that.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad deal.
It's not bad.
Because
for the most part, you're getting in though.
You want to know that somebody's coming in and going to hold their own in that raid too.
What was that?
Alexa just announced something. Well, anyway, so anything else you've been up to?
No, just
work and
Pokemon Go, and yeah, that's about it. I can't think of it. We foster animals all the time, but that's about the biggest thing that happens in our house anymore.
I mean, that's like a small kid, so it's not like you could just say it's a few hours of work right there.
Yeah, no, it's right now we've got a Yorkie. We've had him for a little longer than I would like keeping foster pets. I think we're in 6-7 weeks now.
Oh, geez.
But it's unfortunate because he's got he has a heart murmur. He's an older Yorkie. He's 8 years old, and a collapsing trachea.
Oh my gosh.
So for them the deal is with Louisville Metro Animal Shelter, which for people listening, not from Louisville, that's pretty much like the Pound. You know, it's the funded by the government, you know, city government funded. And the rule is any animal that they adopt out has to be spayed or neutered. Well, the problem with poor Rex is they know he won't last if they put him under.
Oh.
So they can't neuter him. So
is that little dog that came downstairs?
Yeah. Little Yorkie. Yeah. So he's it's unfortunate that they're trying to find a rescue to take him, but him being an older dog, it's harder to get rescues to take him. They want the younger puppyish kind of dog. So maybe one day he'll get to go, but I'm just worried it'll be 6 months from now, and I don't know if I want to give him up at that point. I mean,
oh yeah, because the longer you have them, the more they're like, family at that point.
And that's how we have the two dogs we have now. They're both foster fails. We intended to foster them and give them up, but we fell in love with them and kept them. So
yeah, well, it's cool you do it at least.
Yeah. And actually, at this moment, I think we have 3 guinea pigs and a rabbit in our basement. So.
Oh God. The farm.
Yeah, we're the animal go-to people. Or I said animal. We are the rabbit. If they get rabbits, they automatically just call us and ask if we'll take them. So
nice. Well, I haven't been up to much either. Moving the mic around because it's a weird setup we have here with 2 people. This is the first time we've had 2 people in this different setup. But I went to. If the listeners remember, last week we were having a math trade in Louisville, and we went to it, or at least I went to it, and Eric went to it, and James ended up joining us. And there's a couple of other people that we knew from Louisville that showed up and everything. I got a lot of cool stuff. I'm very excited. I had 2 IKEA bags full of stuff, traded it all out except for maybe 7 or 8 small card games and like 1 medium-sized game. And I got a lot of good stuff. I got New Angeles, which is like that Fantasy Flight Android game that has like a lot of bluffing and yeah. I bought the Myth board game. I always wanted this, even though I knew the first edition was very flawed in the rule book and the rules and everything. But they did come out with a 2.0, and this guy had it all printed on duplexed paper. So really nice. I got Earth Reborn. I got the Star Wars Unlock series. Have you played that one yet?
No.
Yeah.
That sounds good, though. I like the Wizard of Oz one they had. So
yeah, this is like 3 Star Wars games. One you play as the rebels escaping Hoth. One you play as the smugglers doing something. And then the other one, like, you're Imperial. So you play like all 3 factions.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. I got this game called Sinister Six, which is apparently based on the Marvel stuff. It's apparently trash, so I don't really know.
Yeah, Sinister Six that came up in Marvel.
Maybe it's DC.
I think it might be DC. I think because they popped up in we were watching Robin and
Batman,
Starfire. No, Teen Titans.
Teen Titans. Yeah, I was just thinking that.
There's a Teen Titans. It's either HBO or Showtime or something. I think the Sinister Six popped up in it. So
that's awesome. I got Loot Island, which I'm excited about. This Masters of Orion Conquest game, which I didn't learn till later that was garbage, but it's fine.
I hope I'm right. Someone's probably raging out if I was wrong.
That's cool. They can send an email at meeplecore@gmail.com. I got the Civilization board game. I got a kids game called Hop, which is massively overproduced. I would have never bought this by itself because apparently it's just throwing a little ring around people's fingers. But the game box is bigger than like a Ticket to Ride box. It's so big. I got Thieves' Den and the expansion, 7 Wonders. I actually bought that off James, or traded him anyway. Wavelength, Lucidity, Visitor, and this game called, I don't remember what it's called because in the picture it's upside down. It's like, I don't even know. It's some weird Kickstarter game that was really small, I think, but it's based off some kind of comic. I'll look it up later, maybe. Either way, it was a really good time. I was up there for a lot longer than I thought I was going to be. Basically, I thought I was going to be there until about 3, and I was up there until 4. Really, I only went up there to do one math trade, and I had all my bags in my car. And I just thought, man, I don't really want to go there by myself because this is the first time literally I've ever taken stuff to go trade or sell.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. I'm not much on the selling part. As a matter of fact, I don't think I sold a game. I strictly just traded. No one ever offered me money or anything. Not that I cared, because I am way better, or not way, I'm more excited about trading a game for a game.
Right. Or
trading some of the games I don't want, like even if it's a couple, for something that I'm really interested in. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14.
Right.
It's so good, Matt. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to play it.
Yeah. I agree. I almost don't want to play it now too, because it's a subscription based thing, and it's kind of like,
Is it subscription based?
Yeah, it's $13 a month.
Is it really?
I am totally fine with this.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I just don't like spending $13 a month.
Okay.
It's worth it though. Like the base game, A Realm Reborn, is really good. And apparently it's the weakest of the expansions just make it better and better.
Mm-hmm.
So, and apparently Shadow's End what was it called? Oh man. I'm not a super fan, guys, I promise. But Shadow's game, let's see, Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringer? Bringer. So Shadowbringers is apparently on its own one of the best Final Fantasy stories ever told. Now, we'll see. We'll take that with a grain of salt. Is this like Final Fantasy 7 level? Even for me, like Final Fantasy 6? Maybe for you, Final Fantasy 10. There's some really good storylines in a Final Fantasy game. So if this is that good, I'm excited. I'll keep you posted. Matt is thinking.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as stories, 7, 8, 10, 15. All really good. Solid.
8? You liked 8 that much?
I thought 8 was my favorite storyline, actually.
Wow, that's interesting.
Just because I felt like everything was more tied together.
Okay.
Although I did, maybe actually now I'm thinking about it, I did not like the Lacuna. Was it Lacuna?
8's
one of those Laguna. Sorry, Laguna.
Laguna.
I didn't like the whole 3 guys that. I really didn't like that, but the whole thing with Edea and how she was tied to all the other characters, I just thought was really neat. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I like the little emo love story going on between Squall and Renoa. So
yeah,
I don't know, it was pretty cool. I liked 8 a lot.
Well, maybe you'll like this one because Shadowbringers actually brings in the Gunbreakers, like the guys with the sword guns. Yeah, that's a class they introduced in this expansion, basically.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe you'll like it. Anyway, I've just been playing a lot of that. It's a lot of fun. It basically feels like you're not playing an MMO. I mean, there's a lot of people everywhere, but it really does feel like you're playing a solo game.
Right.
Because you never group with people unless you need to. And it has like really good group finding stuff built in.
Was Phantasy Star Online kind of like that too? Or did you?
No, Phantasy Star Online was more like Diablo, where there's a bunch of people in like the lobbies. But
right, I remember that.
Then you team up and go into a 4-man.
So you did always have to have a group, pretty much.
Well, I mean, you could play by yourself, but there was only 4 people in a group when you go and actually play the game outside of the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure the lobby only had 12 or 16 people. Now, Phantasy Star Online 2 is much different. I actually started playing that, but then I got pulled into Final Fantasy, so I only played it once.
Right.
For like 3 hours, but super excited. That's actually free to play. You might want to check that one out.
Phantasy Star Online 2?
Yeah.
What system is that on?
PC and Xbox. It's free to play, free to download, everything.
I don't do Xbox.
PC.
I don't have a computer.
What happened to your laptop?
I ain't playing games on that.
All right, well, fair enough. You need a computer, Matt.
Yeah, I'm fine. I need less reasons to sit in front of a screen. I'm good with just my PlayStation and Netflix and stuff.
All right, that's fair. Well, let's move on to some news. And I got a couple of things here real quick. One of them is actually music related. I don't know if you saw this, but the kid that was on the Nirvana cover,
yeah,
he's deciding to sue the band
mm-hmm.
for, obvious
$100,000 a piece or something like that.
It's like $150,000 because he thinks he's alleging child pornography and the fact that he never received anything from it. He never signed any kind of like release forms, which I think he's saying his parents didn't sign any release forms because it would be the legal guardian that has to do it.
Right.
And there's one accusation. I don't know if it was in this one, but apparently like either the photographer or what was it? Let's see, or Kurt Cobain like gagged the baby and threw it in the water so it would have a different like response. Yeah, it was kind of interesting to hear that. I don't know. It doesn't say in this article. There was a bunch of articles I read about it and I only saved one so I remember. But they were saying basically when they threw the baby in the water, they initiated his gag reflex and that's why he's making the face when he's underwater. Now, the interesting thing is somebody else posted a picture and said, when being on the cover of Nirvana's album traumatized you so much as a child that you recreated the scene multiple times before deciding to...
No, I know this. And I think he might even have a Nevermind tattoo across his chest.
Oh, yeah. This is called money grabbing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel bad for you at all, man.
Yeah. It's
sorry.
I it's funny. I was talking to guys at work about it. I'm halfway wondering if he's just hoping that like
he'll get popular or something.
Well, no. I'm wondering if he's just hoping like David Grohl says, "Man, here's $1 million. Leave us alone and shut up." And settles out of court or something, just to not have the publicity to surround them at all.
Right, just so they don't have any kind of negative light.
Right. So, look, if he's got a case and he's got the right to have a case, awesome. But I got a pretty good feeling there's nothing there to hold up. So
no, if you wanted some sort of compensation, number one, you're like what, 20, 25 or something, or maybe he's 30. I mean, he's old. He's old enough to where
I think that album came out in 92, I think.
Yeah.
So is that almost 30? Am I doing math right?
Well, I think it's the 25th anniversary of it.
25th?
So maybe it was a little bit. No, it had to have been before that. Nah, I don't know. Either way, though, let's just say the guy's 25, you had plenty of opportunities when you turned 18
right.
to now to not remake the cover of it. That really just screws your whole argument.
Right.
I mean, if you didn't do any of that and then you're like, I'm getting tired because everybody only like knows me as the baby on the Nirvana cover.
Yeah.
You have a better argument there because you can say it's like traumatizing or something. But no, you embrace that. It looks like 5 times.
I don't know how people would only like, they wouldn't know that unless you told them.
Right. They're not going to come up to you and be like, oh, I recognize that, that pee-pee.
That would be something. Yeah, that might be grounds for a lawsuit.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting.
Every person I get intimate with always brings it up.
Oh, man. So, I don't know. It's just interesting because every once in a while we talk about music and stuff, and I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to bring up. So, I wish him the best, I guess, if you got a strong case, but at the same time, I'm not feeling it.
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know law, but I got a hard time believing he's got a leg to stand on.
That's fair. Well, the next thing here is pretty quick. And the last thing we have in the news before we jump into some games, that Matt got to play with us, which is exciting.
What?
The games.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Matt's been, able to join us pretty much as we have it at Eric's, which is every other week now. So that's pretty fun. Magic the Gathering is crossing over with Fortnite, Street Fighter, Lord of the Rings, and more to do some secret lair sets with like cover art. Like here's one for Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast, and this is on PC Gamer. Wizards of the Coast announced Tuesday that Magic the Gathering is getting a secret lair crossover with those that I mentioned, and Warhammer 40k. Wizards also shared the first look at some of the art. And
now, what is a secret lair? Is that
it's like a single, if I remember, I don't buy a lot of these, but I believe it's like a set that you purchase, and it might be like 20 cards. It's not a whole lot. It's not like 141 card set or whatever it is.
Right.
It's just like a little self-contained set that's
maybe kind of like
whatever.
I guess online with like the Pokemon little things, the pack, like dual packs or whatever they come out with, like something kind of like that,
but not even like where the cards work with each other. It's just a bunch of cards in a set.
Okay.
Yeah. Like here, if they did a secret lair set and they had ninjas, it'd just be like 20 cards of different ninjas.
Okay.
Or D&D dragons or something.
Okay.
I believe. But yeah, it says, it's limited time sales that include special art and sometimes unique rule sets. Right. So some of them actually take cards that are already in existence and plop like whatever thing it might sound like it does the same thing.
Right.
Except it's already a card that exists in Magic. They didn't make up rules for the Chun-Li card.
Right.
Or whatever. Anyway, it sounds cool. Fortnite cards are rebranded, reprints spread out over 2 secret lair drops. So essentially you're trading default art for some fun Fortnite themed art. Seems pretty cool. I mean, I guess if you really like Magic and you want to bust out Gandalf.
I don't know how many people cross, a lot of kids playing Fortnite. I don't think they're playing Magic.
I know. I don't think so either, but that's a smart move because Fortnite has a big following.
No, I get it.
Let's pull them in.
But
they're probably not going to play a card game.
No, it's such a twitchy environment. And then you're going to want these same people to sit down and and read all these cards and
where's the walls that I can build?
Exactly.
It says the collaboration will release as 4 commander decks plus secret lair drops. So some of them are actual decks, apparently. I don't know. Looks kind of neat. There's one for Gandalf. You can't see it on the podcast.
Yeah.
That's not pretty good. And then Warhammer 40k.
Sweet.
The artwork looks great. I mean, it always looks great with
Magic cards are pretty solid.
Yeah, with Magic cards. Cool. And it also has a Kanigawa. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is a set that came out a long time ago in Magic, and it was a bunch of ninjas and stuff. And now they have it themed as like a cyberpunk.
Oh, cool.
I'm pretty interested in that. All right. Well, anyway, we got 3 games that we're going to talk about. But before we do that, check out MeepleCore.com. Click the Humble Bundle partner link and get a bunch of blah, 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 blah. Get a bunch of games on there, books, PDFs, all kinds of stuff. So help support the show. But more importantly, as I always say, go and rate us on whatever platform you're listening to us on, because it helps get us in the face of other people, or the ears of other people, I guess. Mm-hmm. And that really helps out more, because this is such a show that doesn't run on any money at all. So maybe $20 a month to pay for the hosting. Past that, I just buy equipment if we get money, which we got some cool stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Different setup, but got new cameras and mics and all that jazz. So check out click on MeepleCore.com. Click the link. Blah. I'm just messing this all up, Matt.
That's all right.
Click that Humble Bundle partner link. Anyway, we got 3 games we're going to talk about on this episode. Hansa Teutonica, the Vault expansion called Relic Roadshow, and Archmage. So first up on this episode, we are talking about Hansa Teutonica. You build networks of merchants along the roads and market towns of the Hanseatic League. I'm assuming I pronounced that right. I don't know. It's designed by Andreas Stedding, published by Argentum Verlag, although I believe that the big box version is Z-Man. And it came out in 2009. So Hansa Teutonica is one of those games that a lot of people know about. I'm not going to go over all the rules, but if you haven't played it, I will summarize it really quickly. The best way I can describe it without having visual aids for you is that picture like a Ticket to Ride style board, but it's like, you know, obviously like medieval type or Renaissance maybe. I don't know what the actual theme is as far as, but it says players have to improve the players act as traders trying to get victory points for building a network of offices, controlling cities, collecting bonus markers, or when other traders use the cities they control. After controlling a line between two cities with your pawns, you can decide to build an office or to get a skill improvement from some of the cities. So on your turn, you have so many actions, and the actions are actually dictated by, or the number of actions is dictated by your player board, because your player board has all these traders, and I don't remember what the circle ones are, but you basically have squares and circle meeples, merchants, yeah, on your board. And you want to get them off of there, because once you get them off of there, you have more pieces to utilize, but also it increases the efficiency of your actions as you do them. So for instance, you start off with 2 actions, but if you gain the ability to remove from the board more of those pieces, then you'll get 3 and 4 and 5 actions. There's a little key, and the more pieces you move off the keys, the more points you're going to score for, I believe, is it contiguous?
Yes.
Controlled cities at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. And there's a privilege meter, which is basically there's like 4 levels of privilege. The reason you need that is because on the main map, when you take over control of a city, you have to put a cube there or a circle sometimes. And you can only put a cube there if it matches or is lower than your privilege level. Mm-hmm. And there's a book. There's 4 spaces for the book. And those will allow you to move pieces around on the board, because when you take the normal action of placing pieces, they have to come from your supply or whatever. And if you already have them on the board, you have to do this other action and move those around. And the last thing is bags of money, which allows you to buy pieces back, because as you're taking your actions and you're putting the pieces out on these spaces, when you take control of something, all those pieces come back to you, but they go not in your supply to be used. So you have to buy them back essentially, like they're used. Anyway, on the board, you have all these different cities that are connected by roads, and each of these roads might have 1, 2, 3, or 4 spaces that you can put these merchants and traders on. And one of your actions on your turn is to take control of a city that is on either side of that road, but you have to control every space in between it. And so there are an action when you're placing pieces where you can boot somebody out of the space and take their space, but it costs you extra meeples basically to do that, or traders or whatever. Once you do take over a city, there's a couple of things that will happen. 1, obviously in-game scoring purposes. 2, there are certain cities that will actually allow you to upgrade instead of taking the city, you can instead increase your player abilities on your player board by removing pieces, but you have to take over certain areas on the board to do that. So there's a lot of congested fighting, I guess, over those spaces, mm-hmm. I want more actions. I'm going to try to take this one over. Anyway, for the most part, that is the game. There's only a couple of other things. There's these little bonus discs that float around on the different tracks and roads. And as you take it over, you get the bonus disc, and you can spend it once to do special abilities. And then new ones come out and get placed by the person who picked them up. There are, some other in-game scoring things, and overall the game, if there's expansion to it, but we're talking about the base game. You keep playing until I believe it's 20 victory points, and that triggers the end game. Then you do all the end game scoring. So, Matt, let's start with you. What'd you think about this one?
Well, to start off with, this game comes out, the game is ugly. But I'll be honest, whenever I did a little research on this game, I had no clue that it was 11 years old. Taking that into account.
That's true, because the big box says 2020.
Yeah, so not so bad. But even with that said, kind of impressive that it's that old of a game too. It's got a lot of different mechanics to it. Replayability is probably through the roof with it, being how you could take all these different routes to see if certain play styles will work better or not. I mean, maybe there's a fine-tuned way to play it the best, but you can decide if you want to like go, I want more actions and see what I can do with that, or maybe having more privilege will be more beneficial to me or whatever. So, you got that going on. It is kind of a weird, not really area control, but kind of, I guess, maybe just to try and take over a city.
It's a lot of leeching off each other and setting each other up for a score.
Right.
Because I know that you want to get another action, right? Because you put two pieces there, but you don't have enough actions to fully, finish off that road. So I go in, I just put one guy.
Yep.
And I don't care. That's cool. You can win it. But the whole point of that is if you boot somebody off, they get to place their piece. +1.
Yes.
Right. So they get to come back with that piece and another, which might end up, filling up their road. And then on their next turn, bam, they just claim it.
Right.
So it's interesting. It is a lot of leeching off. It's like, well, if you're going to get this, I'm in.
Yeah. I will say there was a little bit of a learning curve. I know you and Eric had played it before, and y'all didn't seem to have a problem. But I know me and Melissa, not ever playing it, was like a little overwhelming, and you're worried that you're making the wrong move at the beginning.
Yes.
So about mid game, it's kind of like, oh, okay, now I see what I should have been doing the whole time. So it just takes a little bit to get used to. Overall, I think the game is good. I wouldn't mind playing it again. So, and like I said, man, it being 11 years old, it's kind of impressive on how good of a game it is. So
yeah, 2009 and it's this good. I mean, that stands the test of time for real. And the weird thing is, even though I said in the beginning, I didn't compare it to Ticket to Ride, but to give you a mindset of what the board looked like, it's kind of similar, right? Like you're trying to take routes, basically. The only difference is the routes actually get removed in this game.
Right.
And then they can be claimed again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, this is a really good game. There is one thing I got irritated with, actually, each time I've played it so far, and that's those little discs I was talking about that have the special abilities. Because I feel like you get a lot of points for them at the end of the game. It's like progressive scoring. So if you have 1, you don't get a lot, but if you have 2 and 4 and 6, you get a ton of points.
Right.
And you're getting points for those. And I get it. Like, you're going out of your way sometimes to get these discs, but the powers they provide you with makes up for it.
Right.
And you're also getting all that effect, but you're also getting a ton of points at the end of the game.
Okay. With that being said, did Eric win?
He did.
Do you feel like that's,
I feel like that's how he won last time we played.
Is
too.
that like the horse in Toledo? Like, you're not going to win unless you focus on those, maybe?
I don't know about that, but at least you have to contest it more.
Right.
So maybe it was more of our fault as a group.
For just letting him always get them?
Yeah. Right. But I mean, other people had him. It's not like he just had a lot of them. He had
a lot more than everyone else.
I think he had like 9 or something.
Yes.
And everybody else had like 2 and maybe 3. I didn't have a single 1.
I had 2.
So that was pretty bad. That was a really bad scoring round with me. I had the lowest points, but actually Melissa won.
Did she really?
Never mind. Eric's fine. This game's not broken.
Okay. Well, hey, that's okay. Well, then
the National Weather Service has issued something. I'm going to unplug that. All right. Anyway.
Well, then, okay. You don't have to go for those to necessarily win. So,
yeah, I don't think you have to go for them or anything, but it's just weird that he caught up so fast in points at the end of the game by focusing on them. So, but at the same time, it's like, it's neat that that's another aspect of the game, another route to victory, and not just doing the same stuff, I guess. I think it's one of those things that just catches you off guard, how many points they are, and they fly past you in points. You're like, whoa, why? That's a lot of freaking points. But in the end, I guess with experienced players, it probably isn't a big deal. And you're maybe spreading those out among the player base more and more. But the fun thing is, once you get tired, this is one thing, like the board's static, right? Like these little special ability upgrade cities are always in the same spot. But if you have the big box, you actually have multiple maps to play. And I think that's pretty cool. It reminds me of like Power Grid in the fact that I like Power Grid. It's a fine game, but if I had to play the same map over and over and over and over, that would only last a few times. But jumping back and forth between a couple of maps really makes it so like I can play this map a whole bunch of times because I'm breaking it up by playing another one. I don't know how it would be before the big box but without expansions in the beginning, we're not playing it in 2009. We're playing it in 2011.
Right.
2021. I'm a little bit off there. Anyway, yeah, so we should play it again with the expansions. I mean, Eric does have it with the big box, and I don't remember. I'm pretty sure there are 1 or 2 expansions. Let's see. I mean, if it's a big box, it might as well have a bunch, right?
Right.
We got Hansa Teutonica. We got East expansion, Britannia, Emperor's Favor, bonus markers. But I mean, I feel like these are just like maps and stuff. I don't know how much of a big box this is, Matt. Well, anyway. Includes the base game and all expansions that was released. So everything I just said. So it's basically a bunch of map packs and some mini things. I don't think it's a ton of stuff. I don't own it, so I haven't looked into it
right
past just what we played. But yeah, I like it. I actually heard about it on, I believe, the Secret Cabal. I might be wrong. And I knew the game existed. I just didn't know it was good or anything about it until like maybe a year ago when we played it the first time. Maybe it was like 6 months. It was during the pandemic.
Right.
Good stuff. All right. Well, anything else on that one?
No. It's a good game.
Good game. That is Hansa Teutonica. Next up on this episode, we're talking about the expansion to Vault Wars called Relic Roadshow. Outbid, outbluff, and master the auctions to be victorious in Vault Wars. You know, these are, Matt hasn't been on it for a while, but these little sayings right here are actually like player community added. Like,
it's kind of like Wikipedia, then you can just change it and make it whatever you want.
So anytime George and I see one that hasn't been filled out, we do it live on the podcast.
That's
it's
cool.
Like add points and do this to get. So that's why they aren't super professionally written or anything. But anyway, it's for
now. Can you change it though?
Yeah, I can hit this edit button, change it.
Yeah, okay, so
and you have to put comments on why you're changing it and stuff.
Gotcha.
You can't just be like the first one was garbage, or maybe because it was wrong, like they misspelled things, or maybe not misspelled, but like called victory points instead of prestige or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, this is for 3 to 5 players. It's designed by John Gilmore and Ian Moss, published by Floodgate Games, and this just got released to backers maybe within the last month in this year of 2021. This is the first and only expansion so far for Vault Wars. And if you're not familiar with what Vault Wars is, it's a little card game that plays like Storage Wars, where, you know, you're looking at vaults of dead heroes, basically, and you are auctioning off the items that are in there. Or not the items that are in there, but you're looking around, seeing some, but not everything, and you're auctioning off for that entire vault. Quote unquote storage, storage unit. But in the Relic Roadshow, it does change quite a bit of things here. The original game had a deck of vaults. Those are replaced by the vaults in this one because the Relic Roadshow is basically the villain's vault that, you know, the villain died, left behind their vault. People are auctioning those off, and the game actually has relics in it. And these relics are powerful kind of weapons and armors and things like that that have different special abilities on them. And, well, you're not really auctioning those off, but they are in there because in their base game, each of the vaults has a special ability. It has how many treasures that are revealed or that are pulled out of the deck of items for this vault. So say it says 6. It might say that 3 of them go face up and everybody gets to look at 2 of the remaining ones at random. So if you had 6 cards, you put 2 of them face up and you have 4 left. You shuffle them. You get the next player looks at 2. They shuffle those, pass them. They look at 2. So everybody has a slightly different view on what the actual vault contains. And then you go through the auctioning, and the auctioning basically is just round robin. You have to go up or whatever. You can pass and come back in as long as not everybody passes in sequential order, because then, you know, the higher bidder wins at that point. But maybe Matt's like, 11. All right, Matt, you back in, 10 or 11, 12, 13. Okay, I pass. Matt passes, 14, 15. Matt's like 17. It still goes in order. It's not like an actual storage auction where it's just random people screaming, although that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. The difference is in this one, the special abilities aren't on the actual vaults. Instead, they're actually on the relics that you get. And the way you get relics, though, is whoever had the second highest bid they don't pay, they keep their money. Normally, the highest bidder will pay their money to whoever's vault it is. because at the beginning of the game, you get, I think it's, well, it depends on the player count, but usually it's like 3 to 5 vaults they get, and you draft them, and everybody plays one vault face down and flips them, and they have numbers on them on which order they actually happen in. So Matt might go first, and you know, we auction off his vault. When we're done, whoever wins pays Matt money, gets all those items. And then whoever has the second highest bid in this expansion will get so many relics. They'll get 1 relic, but they get so many from the deck to look at. So it might say 4. And so you draw 4 cards, you get to keep 1, put the rest back. And that's pretty much it. Other than, you know, you do that the whole round, and there's an end of round stuff where you will store your items, which is all base game things. It's not part of the expansion, but basically you can only store so many. Well, I guess you can store as many as you want. You just have to pay to store them. So you don't want to store a crazy amount of stuff. And there's a lot of junk. Like, I think half the item deck is just junk cards. And, but some things actually utilize the junk,
right.
You know. Anyway, you do this X number of rounds, depending on the player count, how many vaults you have. So if everybody has 3 vaults, you're going to play 3 entire rounds where everybody gets 1 vault per round that they sell. And then at the end of the game, you just count up points. And the points are like, as you're collecting weapons, maybe there's a set, like armor set of like dwarven weapons and armors. And if you have so many pieces, they can sell for this much or whatever. And at the beginning of the game, you actually get, in this one, you get an aspiring hero and like a villain card. Where in the base game, you just get 2 heroes. This one actually has a villain, which ties with the relic cards. But basically they say, here's a scoring method for the end of the game, but you only get to pick one of those 2 to score at the end of the game. You don't get both. So you can be working against 2 things, or maybe work against one and, you know, maybe you're losing that strategy, so you switch over to the villain instead. Either way, you're scoring 1. The last thing this game actually, the expansion has, are these 7 deadly sins. In the original game, there's a loan shark, and if you don't have enough money, you can visit the loan shark and get money. But it gives you corruption, and the more corruption you get, the more negative points you get at the end of the game. This one actually has a card that you can use each round, and when you use it, you can use it as the auctioneer, as a bidder, or during the storage fees to get the loan shark ability of the money or whatever. But everybody has basically 2 special abilities that they can utilize each round, but you are getting corruption for that. So ultimately the game plays pretty similar to how it was before. I guess comparing, let me tell you this and see if you agree with me. I feel like the expansion feels like the base game, and the base game feels like the expansion.
I don't know.
Because the reason I say that is because all the vaults in the base game have all these special rules and stuff that's going off every time a new vault comes out, which, number one, makes the game a little bit longer, but super cool. In this one, all the vaults are, you know, all these vaults are just, here's how many treasures.
Okay, and maybe I don't remember that, because I can't remember the base game enough to remember the vaults with the special powers and stuff. So maybe you're right. I was kind of half and half on this part of it, because I think what were the green cards? I'm sorry, what was it called?
The relics.
The relics.
Yeah.
The relics are cool in the sense that, you know, it always sucks in like bidding games to be second. This gives you a cool bonus if you do come in second. You'll get to draw up the relic cards and you know, keep one. And it could end up being something cool. Some of them are pretty neat. So I don't know. I'm always for like second place person getting a little something, not everything back just because you lost, but just a little something. And I think it entices people to bid higher too. It gets the bidding action to go a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really like that aspect because 2 people are quote unquote scoring every time a vault's sold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're right. The one player is getting all these items. The auctioneer gets all the money. And then that second highest is getting something neat too.
Right.
Which is really cool in a 3-player game because every vault somebody's getting, which realistically, I mean, the Vault Master could be the second highest as well.
Right.
Because the Vault Master can start the bid off. They only can bid one time on that. They start the initial bid. But if they put it high enough, like 14, and you say 17, and I'm like, I don't have that much money. Not only does the auctioneer get money, but they also get the choice of the relic cards too.
Right.
I really like that part. Here's my problem with it though, is that I feel like they should have just kept, or could have, I don't know about should have, but they could have just had a deck that you shuffle up and you draft those two. And it's just how many relics there are. And you can pair those up, like you draft those two and pair those up with your vaults from the base game rather than having a whole set of new vaults.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be neat to add the ability to get relics from the base set cards vaults as well. Now, I know that destroys the theme of the game.
Right.
Because why would these heroes, I mean, maybe they killed bad guys and took their relics and was sealing them away or whatever. Either way, like in the base game, you have stuff like this, like the Dwarven Lockbox. It's the same thing. 4 cards, you flip one face up, everybody gets to look at one of the remaining. The difference is instead of having, 4 relics for the second player to choose from, this one says the winner, you get to keep this vault in your item pile as a dwarven item. Or like this one over here, the Auction Master, you may set aside any number of junk cards from this vault face up and draw back up to 4 items. Then shuffle the junk cards you set aside into the item deck, and you can only do that once. Like they have a lot of these really cool special abilities, which makes the drafting more, I guess the drafting part better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why you would need to draft with the expansion, except for it's really nice to look at the priority of when they'll go off.
Right.
Because maybe you want one that's low and high and mid because you're starting the round with no money. So you're like, I need to get a vault out there fast as the auctioneer and get some cash.
Mm-hmm.
Or this one here, the Auction Master may choose the revealed items after the players have peeked at the items. So that's kind of cool.
Right.
Because maybe not enough people knew there was diamonds in it. Bam, here's some diamonds. So I think I like the base game better on the vault side of things. But I will tell you the best part about this expansion to me are those 7 Deadly Sin cards.
Really?
Dude, I thought it was awesome.
Did anyone use them?
I did. Did you not use it?
No, I was trying to think if anyone ever used them. I didn't remember anyone using them. So
yeah, I used it. I think every round.
Wow, I must have missed out on that. Okay.
Oh man, yeah, because like before, if you didn't have enough money, you visit the loan shark and you got corruption.
Mm-hmm.
But I would, if you don't have a lot of problems with money, or maybe the meta of the game is people aren't spending a whole lot on vaults, then everybody has more cash on hand, and so getting corruption's not as bad. Because you don't have to get the corruption, get money. You can get abilities that allow you to do other things and make up for those points later by, having better cards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. I thought that was pretty awesome. I wasn't super excited about the villains, how they worked with the vault, the relics.
I don't think anyone scored a villain either.
Yeah,
Looking back at it.
Yeah, I like the idea. That is one thing I like about this game, but I'm not sure about it in the expansion. Because most games, if you get hidden objectives, it's like, here's 2 or 3, pick one to keep and discard the rest. This game's like, here's 2, keep them till the end of the game and score the one you want to.
Right.
That is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why more games don't do that.
Yeah.
That is the absolute best thing ever. Could you imagine playing other games like that? Like, here's 2 cards in, I can't even think of a game off the top of my head, but a lot of games do it where you get, in-game scoring stuff and you just have to pick at the beginning of the game, but you don't know what's going to happen. You also didn't even know if you want to go for that strategy, where in this game, if things aren't panning out, you can kind of jump between 2.
Right.
But the villains are really hard to pull off because they're specifically vault related, or
right.
Relic related. And if you're not getting second highest bids, it's really hard to get anywhere near using it.
Right.
The other thing I thought was really weird, and we didn't do it, but the expansion it mentions explicitly in the setup to set the workers aside. I don't remember if you knew, or I don't know if you remember this or not, but in the base game, there's a row of workers that you put out that you can actually buy, and they are like one-time use special abilities. And I thought they were awesome. I don't know why they don't work for this.
Maybe something was broken in playtesting and they just said take them out. I mean, that's the only thing I could think.
Maybe. Yeah. I would almost rather this game, like, look, you can play anything the way you want to play it. You can house rule anything you want. But for me, I like to play it as intended, as it's written. And I think that this would have been almost cooler if you may have to tweak some things, but if it's more modular. Like this is intended to play the way that we kind of played it. But I almost would rather, if you want to put relics in your game, put them in your game somehow, even though that's impossible unless you use the vaults from the villain deck.
Right.
But you could play with the 7 deadly sins in the base game, or possibly I don't remember all of them offhand, and if they say anything about relics or not. But I think a lot of them say, maybe go through the item discard pile, things like that, or is the auctioneer, it's too small to read on this card right here, but I like that part. It would be cool if it was kind of more modular to me, and you can just add and subtract the things you want, even though I'm not a big fan of modular expansions. I think these are like mini expansions instead of big modules. Did you like it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I liked it. I think the game's fantastic. I'm just, as a reviewer, I need to be poking it, I guess, as hard as I can. But overall, I like the game. I still think that maybe I like the base game better, and it's only because I like the vaults and what they do. However, this is really good to own because it does take the difficulty of the game for some people, like all these special abilities and stuff. It's like, it dilutes it to a refined experience, I guess, like straightforward.
Maybe this was more of a family version.
I don't know.
Or
it's just a weird it's a weird expansion in my eyes because it doesn't expand on the game. It replaces a lot of the game and makes it almost like a remake of the game.
Right.
It's like they come out with a movie, but then 5 years later they come out with another one that's the same thing. You're like, maybe Evil Dead 2.
Yes.
That's basically what it did, right?
Pretty much. I think they argue differently, but in my eyes, it's the same movie.
I can't even tell you which one's which at this point. Yeah. So anyway, it's a really good expansion. I'm not trying to be harsh or anything like that. I think it is very awesome. It's just certain parts of it's kind of odd to me design wise, why they chose to do it like that. But overall, it's a really good expansion. And at this point, I don't care if they make something for Vault Wars, I buy it. As a matter of fact, jumping back, a year ago or something, 8 months ago, they actually came out with this pretty fast. On Kickstarter, this launched. I read nothing about it. I backed it and I just closed the Kickstarter app. So I knew nothing about this. It was up until a month. I think it only ran 2 or 3 weeks or something. It was a pretty short Kickstarter. It was a week and a half later. And George was like, did you know you win a playmat? I was like, oh, that's awesome. So, cause they were giving away playmats and stuff. So that was really cool. I'm glad I got a playmat with it, but love the game. It's one of my favorites.
That's good stuff.
Anyway, that is Vault Wars, the Relic Roadshow expansion. And last up on this episode, we are talking about Archmage, published in 2018. There's no description, Matt. We can add one. We'll skip it for now. Its designer is Tim Jennette. It's published by Starling Games. It's for 1 to 4 players. Takes about 60 to 120 minutes. And there's a lot of stuff going on in this game, so I'm going to briefly tell you a summary. Basically, there's a hexagon grid of tiles. The middle cluster of tiles, so 1 hex with each hex around it, 7 hexes. That one's a static board that you place, and then you're going to take all these other tiles face down, shuffle them up, and place them around it in this big hexagon grid. What you're going to do on your turn is you have 5 action points in this game. It's called movement points. Spoiler alert. I don't know why. That sounds dumb, but you use movement points to fight and stuff too. You might as well just call them action points. You use those 5 points to do different things. You can move your mage to an adjacent hexagon. You can reveal the hexagon by spending a point. You can fight off another player's follower that's on a space, which you have to do. Well, you don't have to, but you want to do that because the game's kind of an area control. All these tiles that are face down are 5 different wild types. There's orange and purple and yellow and green and black, which, they're themed like ruins and forests and stuff like that. But basically at the end of the game, whoever has the most followers on purple gets points. Whoever has most followers on the blues get a point, etc. I said blue, there's not even one, but purple and orange, all that stuff. As you're moving around though, at the end of your turn, whatever one you land or stop your movements on, you're going to do the action of that space. Most of the time, if it's one of the wilderness tiles, it's going to give you wards that you can place on your adjacent spaces, because anytime you're on a space that doesn't have a follower, for free, you can put one of your followers there, which gives you control of that tile. If you put wards on the spaces with your guys, it protects them because the other players have to kill the wards first before they can kill your follower. So it keeps them around longer. Some of the other spaces, you can go to like the town. And if you finish your turn on the town, you get all this stuff like a bunch of extra relics, which is basically mana of the 5 different colors, or 6 different colors, really. There's a bunch of stuff, but basically you're running around placing followers on the board. And at the same time, at some point early in the game, you're going to build a mage tower on one of these wilderness towers or towels. And what that does is not only dominates that space for the rest of the game because nobody can enter a space with the opponent's mage tower or your mage, it also gives you the ability for you to stop on your mage tower and do what's called initiating and promoting. So you have a player board in front of you that looks kind of like a color wheel, and you have, a red section, a black, orange, purple, yellow, and green. And it looks like a Venn diagram is the best way to say it, because each of the colors is a circle and they mesh into the other circles of colors. And those are considered advanced areas. And then even the smaller areas where 2 advanced areas meet is a master area. It's really hard to picture, but if you just look at the picture at one point, it makes total sense. So you're promoting followers from your supply onto your player board in the outer ring of fundamental spells. And then you're going to use promote actions to move them together into the advanced and the master. The reason I tell you all this is because all 18 spaces here, the 6 fundamental, the 6 advanced, the 6 master, is a spell in the game. So everybody starts with a deck of cards of 18 cards. These are 18 different spells. And you got to really know these spells, because that's a lot of what you're doing throughout the game, is not just running around and putting guys down, but also getting these spells and casting them. You can hold up to, I think, 6 relics or, picture it like mana of each color. And you will use that to cast your spells as well. As you upgrade your spells, you actually lose the lower ones. So if you combine 2 fundamentals to a advanced, you get the advanced, but you lose the 2 fundamentals. I mean, that's, other than reading off every spell in the game, that's kind of the gist of it. You play the game. At the top of the player board, you have these 6 areas for these things called planets. Basically, they're wooden discs. And each time you start your turn, you move one of them closer to the middle. And so depending on the player count, you will have, I think it's like 14 or 16 actions throughout the whole game. I can't remember the exact amount, but you're moving them close to the middle. And once you move all of them to the middle, your turns, that's your final turn. And one thing that is pretty different with this game is that your final turn, you also score at the end of your turn. So you will do your final actions, then you score. And then it'll be Matt's turn. He does his final actions and then he scores. The reason that's important to note is because Matt can do things at the very end to snipe my areas to get the area control bonuses for him. But at the same time, I've already scored for the game, so it doesn't affect me. So everybody does their scoring at the end of their turn on their final turn. You get 2 points basically for having the most of a specific tile type. 1 point if you're tied. And for the spells, you'll get 1, 2, and 4, depending on if it's fundamental, advanced, or master. So if there's anything else, we'll just bring it up as we explain it. But Matt, let's start with you. What do you think about this one?
Well, I'll start with the cards. Me being a TCG player to some extent, I don't think every card should have been foil. That's the
Kickstarter thing, yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if anything, maybe just the master spells, because it made it really confusing when you're looking through your deck trying to find stuff. There's a glare coming off of them. They already got a paragraph of text to try and read, and it's just kind of hard to read the cards.
And some of the colors, like yellow and orange,
they kind of mesh together. You can't really distinguish what's what.
Then you put like a foil over them, and it's like, depending on the light.
Yeah, so I think it would have been cool for just the each master spell would have been foil on their own. Or even just don't foil that part of the card. You know what I mean? Like foil like the graphics and stuff, but not necessarily like because the entire card has a sheen of foil. Right. Yeah. So just a nitpick on my part. I think ultimately though, I got because there's so much different things going on. I'm not going to say it's an engine builder, but you feel like you got kind of an engine going with your spells. It's got some weird, you're doing area control, but then it's also almost trying to do like a TCG game with the spells and the way they act, and resource management. It's like it's jack of all trades, but master of none. I guess is the best way I can say about it, or at least the way I felt about it.
I think the last part of that saying is also jack of all trades, master of none, but being a master of none is better than a master of one. Anyway.
Okay. I've never heard that, but okay.
Maybe somebody made that up in 2020 because they were mad about being a jack of all trades. But
I've never heard that before, but all right.
But no, I agree with you. Like, it's doing a lot of things. It's almost like you're playing two games at once.
Mm.
Because if you take away the cards, the rest of the game is pretty bare. You just move around because the fighting is nothing.
Right.
If you go and you spend an action point, you kill their guy. If they have 2 wards, spend 3 action points.
Right.
It's very basic on that manner, but the spells are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's all kinds of really good ones. And actually, it's one of those games where I feel like the spells are actually balanced in some way. But when somebody gets a spell, you're like, wow, it's so powerful. And then they get a spell and it's like, wow, yours is so powerful.
Right.
Especially the master spells. The only couple of things I don't really like about the spells is, number one, when you advance it and make an advanced spell, you lose the fundamentals.
Right.
So it's like you're like doing the same churning the whole game instead of progressing up and up and up. I mean, you do progress up, but you lose all the back end stuff.
Then you gotta start over.
Yeah. And that was kind of annoying. I didn't like that because it's not an engine that you can just keep churning out each turn. It's like my whole turn's different now. And the second thing is, you're advancing these spells and mastering these spells. They're all different. Like, it's not like Fireball and then a better version of Fireball.
Yeah.
It's like Fireball turns into some weird other spell that has nothing to do with killing things. So I don't know. I didn't like that too much. Like, the expansion, I believe, is bringing out new sets of fundamental and advanced cards. And that might be kind of neat, but that doesn't alleviate like here's the thing. I don't mind this game. I might play it another time or two. I don't think it's one I'm going to really keep. Like, I didn't like it that much. What about you?
I could care not to play it again.
Okay. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I don't know.
You did make a good point of maybe starting the game at a more advanced state than the way you started at the beginning. That might be cool. I don't know, but
like, if everybody just chooses an advanced spell to start with or something like that.
That, or even get rid of the exploration part of it. You just automatically know what everything is. I don't know. It could start a couple rounds in maybe and just alleviate some of the beginning stuff that's kind of mundane.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Like, the first half of the game where you're just running around exploring is kind of...
It's like you're establishing your roots. Like, this is my area. Don't mess with me. But everybody's doing the same thing. And then once it's all revealed, then you start getting in each other's face.
It's like an RTS where, like Warcraft or something, where Age of Empires, where everybody's just not bothering each other for the first part of, half of the game.
Right.
Right. It is better late game. I did like the last 4 or 5 rounds when you have like a bunch of spells to cast, like 4 or 5 spells. That makes it really cool because you're like, man, like, for instance, Eric took a turn where he's throwing down these vines on spaces, which cost you 2 action points to move into instead of 1. And that really does suck, because that's going to drain your actions pretty quickly for the round. And that was cool. Like, I liked when all that stuff was happening, but it is kind of like playing a game that starts off incredibly basic. Well, what are you going to do? Well, the exact same thing you did.
Right.
So all the turns at the beginning are kind of just the same. But yeah, I agree. Maybe all the tiles just be revealed. Because what is the point? The only point about revealing them is you get a relic of the color of the tile when it's revealed. If anything, you could just put tokens on all of them, and the first person to walk onto it gets to spin an action and pick it up.
Right.
And that would do the same thing, but there's no hidden things, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's if you're looking through this deck of cards and you're like, man, I really want to do this, but there's just this complete randomness to what tile you're uncovering. It takes to where you're going to take a couple turns to just go through and reveal stuff and then be like, okay, now I can kind of base calculate your movements you want to go and where you want to end to try and get what you need.
And you're saying that because you need relics when you go back to your mage tower of the color you want to spec that spell into or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Cause you might be, that was the thing I read is you want to look at the map. Well, I mean, I think it was Tom Vassler who said it, but you want to look at the master spells and decide, I like that one. That one sounds cool, and kind of go that route. But you're right. I started my game wanting this one spell and there was no swamps, which is the black bones or whatever. There was no swamps in my entire section of the board, except for one that I found like late game that was real close between me and the other, or me and you, I think.
Right.
So you're right. Maybe kill off the exploration, have some way to decide. Maybe if you want to start with like 2 fundamental spells or 1 advanced or something like that, give some people, because you don't have any player powers. There's no difference between any of the players. All your spells are identical. The purple spell's the purple spell.
Right.
The purple black spells, the purple orange spells, the purple orange spell.
Mm.
I'm kind of disappointed. I really liked the idea behind this game, and I feel like it fell through. I'll give it another chance because I do have the collector's edition, and yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I'll wait for the expansion and see, adding some of that stuff in there. But I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Right.
I'm going to give this one. I'll try it again, but I don't have a lot of hope. What are you giving it? Blech.
Maybe if you had the expansion, I'd give it another shot, but I don't want to play the base game again.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Unfortunately, expansion, I read the rule book. It only adds, like I said, a new set of cards for fundamental spells and advanced spells. Weird that it didn't add advanced master. It adds like player objectives to get points for. And one other thing that I can't remember. So can't be that awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of hopes, guys. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't know if I can recommend this one. It does have a 6.7. So in my eyes, a high 6 is actually pretty decent.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are going to like this. And maybe if you have a lot of plays under your belt and you really know the spells and like the meta of what you need to counter what other people are doing and stuff, it could be a lot of fun. I don't think it was that great for me to put that much time into.
Right.
All right. Want any final thoughts on that one?
No.
That is Archmage. And with that, we're at the end of the episode, Matt.
Yay.
How's it feel to have I don't know if you've done an hour and a half episode
I'll
yet.
say not since our first ones.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. When we first started, I think our episodes were definitely
That's
like
probably because it was 2 people. Whenever you got into 3 and 4, you got more opinions, right? Dragging everything out, which I miss it. I like having 4 people on there because there's a really good discussion, topics and things. Right.
It's easy to talk to people with like games, like here's our opinion with this game, blah, blah, blah. But you do like a topic where, what do you think about this in the board gaming industry or whatever, what kind of things annoy you? There's a great deal of discussion with 3 and 4 people. So, well, cool. You got anything else before we wrap us up?
No, is there no meat of the episode?
Not really. No, I haven't. I actually haven't said that in a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, the meat of the episode. Because, before we would do like 3 games and then like a topic or 2, but one of the topics was bigger than the other one as far as like time allotted to it. Nope. I mean, most time we're doing like 3 games, and if we don't do 3 games, we do 2 games and like a topic. And
gotcha.
So the whole show is meat. Well, anyway, thanks for coming out, Matt.
Yep.
We want to thank you again for tuning into episode 138 of the MeepleCore Gaming Podcast. This episode was recorded on August 26th, 2021. Please send your questions and comments to MeepleCore@gmail.com. Follow MeepleCore on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Until next time, this is Tim Jennette, the Metal Meeple.
Matt Robert.
Keep on rocking and rolling dice.